Well, last year, the mighty 80 Series Land Cruiser was given a bit of a birthday. You see, the guys down at Berrima Diesel installed a new turbo system, intake, exhaust, the whole works, and of course, they tuned it to perfection. But a few things have changed over the last probably 6 months or so. We've got the new transmission installed, it's got some bigger tyres, and it's always worth popping it back down, getting it on the dyno again, and see if the guys can squeeze a little bit more power out of it, and of course, make sure everything is nice and safe. So, all I've got to do now is hand over the keys, let them work some magic. Yeah, Andrew, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. How are you going, boy?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
Good.
I've got the big 80 Series Land Cruiser for you.
Fantastic.
All right.
Let's go out and have a look and see what we can do with it.
Let's do it. All right, so big 80's been going great the last 12 months or so. Performed really well down in Tassie, but I've got some bigger tyres on it. I've got the new transmission's been fitted as well, so I thought I'd pop down and just give you a look, make sure everything's going okay with it.
I think 100% good timing. Let's get it in, do some testing on the road and on the dyno, and we'll be able to pinpoint what's going on with the bogie.
Well, that sounds good. While you do that, I might go get myself a pie, and I'll come back and check on a couple of hours.
That sounds like a good idea. Enjoy it.
All right, mate, have fun.
Good, mate.
So we're just taking this thing just for a bit of a road test, just to check how it's all driving. It's recently had a new transmission put in it. They've been saying there's a little bit of a surging problem, so sort of when they're coming onto power or sort of under boost, it sort of hesitates a little bit. These things have a electronic boost sensor on them, so what happens is once it sort of goes out of range, it starts cutting the fuel back. So we're going to have to get it up on the dyno, check what boost it's running, maybe adjust the tuning on the boost sensor a little bit more, just to make sure that it's not reaching that sort of limitation, and that should hopefully fix the surging sort of issue. So we're just taking this thing for a bit of a road test. We're just going to give it a good general service. Just check the engine components, filters, all that things. Make sure it's all running right, and then we'll get it back up on the dyno and check the tune side of things. So the front diff oil looks pretty cloudy, so might have just got a little bit of water contamination in there, so we're just going to drop that out and put some fresh oil in there. So when you're doing full driving, going through river crossings, all that sort of stuff, severe driving, it's better to check your oils a lot more frequently and change them more often, because if you left that oil in there, you'd end up doing damage to the diff, so it's not good for another 40-50,000. You'd probably want to check it maybe after every trip really, just to make sure it's all good. Geez, that thing's bloody filthy. So, it goes to show, it doesn't matter how well you maintain things, it pays to check just the simple things every now and then. Because, if you left that for a lot longer, you'd be getting, airflow restriction, and the vehicle would be a bit down on power, start smoking. So yeah, always check, the basics. So the vehicle had a new gearbox put in, so we're just going to pull out the dipstick, double check the fluid. It's done a couple of 100 Ks now, so just want to make sure the fluid's all good. So the level's fine, the oil itself's nice and clean, so it's all good to rock and roll.
All right, Andrew, how'd we go, mate?
Very good, actually, mate. We've fine-tuned the sort of mapping with the DP chip X in this system.
Yep.
It's externally done with the chip module itself. We've come up from about 450 to about 600 newton meters torque at the wheels.
Wow.
And so good gain there.
Yeah.
And we've come up with the kilowatts from a little bit over 70 kilowatts up to about 100.
Mate.
So probably 25 kilowatts in there. So good grain across the range. Nice even fuel mapping. Good even power delivery, and you'll certainly notice that on the road.
Beautiful, mate. I wasn't expecting quite so much of an increase there of the torque, that's going to make a big difference.
Yeah.
Did you find what that little problem was I was saying with the surging?
Yeah, I think it was pretty easy to pick up because you're running boost that's above the spec with that turbocharger.
Yep.
The computer was just stepping in and saying, hey, I don't like that.
Right.
So of course with the DP Chip X system, we've been able to hide a bit of that information from the computer. It thinks everything's normal because it won't know with that different turbo on there.
Yep.
It'll keep the tune on and smooth, happy days.
That's exactly why I wanted to bring it down, give you a look at it, and I can't thank you enough for that. That's going to make such a difference on the road.
I think particularly with the automatic as well, they are
Yeah.
a bit of a sort of a slush box, but
Yeah.
we like them, nice and torquey for a diesel. But you've got good torque delivery down low now, so that'll be great.
Beautiful, can't wait to hit the road. Wow, what a difference a bit of tuning can make. The whole vehicle feels, I suppose, much more drivable, and what I mean by that is it feels much more like a car to drive as compared to before. It was a bit heavier, clunkier, a bit more like a truck. Now there's a lot more torque available, and it's right there. As soon as you squeeze on that throttle, it's right there ready to get up one of those big hills. That's the ones that the four-wheel drives normally don't like. Not anymore. Love it.